Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today my topic for this video is the file handling. A file basically is used to handle the input and output. Once we run a program into the systems, then all the data is stored into the RAM. RAM basically is not a permanent storage. Once we restart a system, so once our system is shut down, then all data is lost. All stored data into the RAM is lost on the restart part or on the shutdown of system. But to store those data permanently, we require the files. To store data permanently to the hard drive, so we require the files. And Python is support the file handling similar to other languages like Java, C, C++. It also like the Python also support read, write, update, delete all functions like the almost. And so basically, once we run a program, suppose this is your RAM and this one is your hard disk. So RAM is temporary storage and hard disk is permanent storage. So once you execute a program into the Python, so all data stored here into the RAMs on the runtimes on the temporary storage. This is the temporary storage. And if you want to store this data from here to here in the hard drive for the permanent storage, to store data permanently, so we require the file. So file is work here to store data from RAM to hard disk. This is the function of file. Further, Python is support multiple file modes. So first mode is the read mode. So to define the read mode, we need to use the R and it open the existing file. So the first requirement for the read mode is the existing file. We require a files, and if we open a file in read mode and file is not exist on the systems, like our systems not find the file is not exist, then it's shown the file does not found error. And next mode is the write mode. Write mode basically if we want to add some data into the files, then we use the write modes, and it open the files, like it open the existing files and performs the writing operation to write the data on the runtime, and it basically replace the existing data. If the file contain the existing data, then it replace those data with new data, basically overriden, and it create a new files if file doesn't exist. Suppose we provide the path of the file while opening in the write mode and file is not exist on the system, then it create file on the runtime. And let me move to the append mode. In append mode, we use the A to open a file in append mode, and it open the existing file in appending mode. And it basically append the data. In the write situation, we replace the data, we override the data. But in case of append, we append the data. It does not overwrite, it append the data. And similar to write operation, if file not found on the system, then it create a new file. And then we have the some advanced version of read, write, and append with plus operator, plus basically opening a file in updating mode. So if we use R plus as a mode, then it open the file in read write mode. We can read the file in this situation, we can write the file in this situation. And if file has some existing data, then it override the data, similar to our write operation. And in the write operation, we override the data. Similarly, we in the R plus, we override the data. And W plus also works similar to R plus. It open the file in the read write mode and also override data if file contain existing data. And same way like the append plus also works similar way. We can append the data and read the data from the file, but it won't override the existing data. It just append the data. So these are the basic file modes supported by the Python. And by default, Python is open any file as a text file in the text mode. Like Python is considered file as a text file. And suppose we want to open the list matrix, like we work in the data science, generally we use the matrix. And suppose we have the images data in the byte force or in the binary format, then we open those files into the binary mode with the help of B. And next one, we have the updating mode. Those we need to define the plus sign to open a file in updating mode. So these are the basic modes for the opening the files while working on the files, manipulate the files to perform the action on the files. And let me move to the coding part. So suppose this is the file. I want to open this file in the write mode. So first is here I'm creating a object. This is the object. Here I'm using the open. Open is the method to open a file, and this is the path of the file. Here I'm just passing the names, and if you have the requirement to open file from the different location, then we provide the all paths like all folders and then the name of the files. And here just I'm opening this file from this current directory. In the right side you can see here this is the current directory, and currently I don't have any file here. It's like the file 1.txt is not exist in the system, and I'm opening this into the write modes as I explained above. This is the write mode, so I'm opening this file into the write mode. And in the write mode, as mentioned here, is like we can add the data in the write mode, so we can write the data. So here I'm writing the two lines here. This is the first line I'm writing in under this text file, and this is the second line. And backslash I'm basically used to divide the string into the two lines. Then I'm closing the file. And closing file is very important. Suppose if I forget to close the file, like I open the file, I write the files, like I write the string or some data into the file, and then I forget to close those files. In those situation, file data is not stored into the hard disk. In this situation, file data is stored into the RAM. Suppose this is the RAM of the system, and this is the hard disk of the system. This one is the RAM, and this one is the hard disk. And if we forget to use the close for a file, we create a files, like we open a file here in the write mode, we just open this file open in the here in the RAM, and then we write two lines here. These two lines basically added into the RAM here. But if we forget to close this file, then this data stored into the RAM. And once our system is restart and our system is shut down, then this data is erased, because RAM is not the permanent memory. And to transfer this data to the hard disk here, to the permanent storage, then we use the file close operation to close the file. Once we close this file, then this data is stored here in the hard disk. So this way, like the backend is work into the file. And let me create this file on the runtime. So you can see here, there's no file. And once I refresh this after this execution, you can see it. Now file is created. File one text. This file is created. So now here I'm again opening this file. This is the file I created here. Now I'm opening this file into the read mode. You can see here, I'm passing the R, and R is similar like the read mode to read the file. So here I'm interested to read this file. And here I'm using the for loop to read line by line, each line. And let me run this to read line one by one. So you can see here, this is the first line which I write here, like the first line for the text file. This is the first line. Then the slash n is the space here. And then the second line, you can see here, this is the second line. So this way we can read the file. Here basically I write the file. Here basically I'll read the file. And I just need to change one things. Here I'm using the mode as a write mode. Here I'm using the mode as a read mode. Here basically I'm using the for loop to read line by line. And now let me read whole file in one go. So here I'm again using the same open method. Here I'm passing the path of the file, and then the mode again read. And here I'm using the read. You can see a file. This is the file object, then read. So this basically read file in one go. You can see here, it's read whole the file content in one go. Like this is the first line, then the slash and then the second line, and slash and basically defining, okay, this is the end of the first line, and now this is the second line. So here we see how we can read whole file in one go. This is the way how we read whole file in one go. And suppose we have the requirement to read specific characters like the first 5 characters, then 10 characters or 20 characters, or one by one. Then we use the same read operation with character limit. So you can see here, here I'm using the file dot read with 5. So here I'm interesting to read first 5 character from this file. This is the file object. This is the read method similar to this. And here I'm just passing the character limit. I'm interesting to read first 5 characters. So this basically read these first 5 characters. This is the first 5 characters from the file. This basically read these first 5 characters. And in the starting of this file, the file cursor here, after reading this first 5 characters, now our file cursor move to here. Suppose again we are interested to read these 5 characters, then this cursor is here. Now it read next 5 characters from here to here. You can see here this white space also 1 character, then line. It basically return line in the output. And after this execution, now our file cursor move here. And if we again read the 5 character, then it return like the next 5 characters up to here. So this way, like the read with character limit is work. We can read any number of characters by using this operation. And let me show you in the code also. So here I'm again opening this same file in the read mode. You can see here in the read mode, and this is the file object. And now I'm using the read functions. You can see here read functions, and I'm passing value 5. So similar to this diagram, first I am interested to read this first 5 characters. So it returned the first. Similar to this, you can see here it returned the first. And if I execute this again for the next 5 characters, then it returned the white space line. You can see here this way it's work. And if I again execute this, then it return next. You can see here it start from here white space O, white space T. So this way it works. If I execute again, then it start from EXT. You can see here EXT white space I. So this way cursor is moved one by one as per the read method limits. Like once we read the particular character, then cursor is moved to the next characters. And let me move to the append mode. So here I'm opening the files in the append mode. This is the same file which created here, and now I am opening this in append mode. Here I'm passing the A, and again I'm creating the file object, then writing the information with the help of write. I'm adding this line. I'm basically write this line, and then I again close this file, similar to above. And let me check this value is added or not. And if I run this code, and you can see here now this file containing the 3 lines. And let me explain the code. So here I'm using the with. With basically the statement in the Python is handle the closing of the files. Like in the previous case, we every time we close the files, we use a with statement, then it automatically handle the closing part. It automatically close the file in the end. Once the execution is done, it close the file. So to avoid the file close, we can use the with. So here the with statement, then this code is same, opening the file in the read mode. And here again, I'm creating the object for this file. So this is the same. So here basically I'm reading all lines by using the file dot read lines method. And then I'm using the for loop to read one line at a one time by using this for loop. And then I'm splitting those lines by white space. And basically I'm splitting line into the word, then printing those words. And you can see here, similarly, it's printing the word one by one. This is the first line. This list is the first line. And you can see here, these are the words, like the first line of the text. These are the words in the first line, then second line, and then the third line. Third line is basically we append here. These are the third line. Next is the remove, like the delete of file. This is the file which I list here. And here basically we are using the OS library. OS basically the system library to remove the files, to create the folders, to delete the folders, to change the directories, and to remove the files, to remove multiple folders. We use the OS library. And here basically I'm removing this file. So you can see here, after executing this file is removed from here. You can see here, now this file is gone. And let me check the current directory. So this way, get cwd is return the current working directory. Os dot get cwd is returning the current directory. And let me create a folders under the current directory. This is the current directory. And let me create a folder data. You can see here, and let me refresh this. You can see here, now data folder is created here. This way, like the OS libraries work. OS basically used to create the folder, to delete the folders. And let me check the list of the directories under the current working directory. So you can see here, it written the list .config data, sample data, these files, these folders is exist under the current directory. So you can see here, similar to this. These are the old folders exist here in the current working directory. Now I'm changing the current content working directory to the newly created data directory. So this is the functions like the os.chdr change directory, and here are the directory path. So now I'm changing the directory, and if I check like the current working directory os.get cwd, now it return the current working directory. So you can see here, now I move to the data part. First is the content, and under the content we have the data folder. So now I move to the data folder. So current my working directory here is the data folder. And let me create another folder under the data. So now you can see here, data folder is blank. Now I'm creating another folder under the data by using the make directory mkdir os.mkdir. This way I'm creating the data one, another folder under the data. And if I refresh this, you can see here, this folder is created here. And next one, let me remove these folders. Let me delete this folder by os.rmdir. And let me refresh this. You can see here, this way, like we can delete the folders here. And next one is I'm using the shuttle library. So shuttle basically used to manipulate the files on the like the from the multiple locations. Like if our folder is creating the files, like if we have the requirement to delete a folders which contain multiple files, or like the non-empty directory, then we basically use the shuttle. Shuttle basically remove the hierarchy of the folders or hierarchy of the multiple folders if even they contain the data. OS remove the empty folders, but shuttle is used to remove the folder which contain the data also. So here first I am creating a new directory, then changing the working directory. Here you can see here I'm creating this directory, and then I'm creating a new file under this newly created directory under the data one. And you can see here, this way it's creating the new file here. And now I am again changing the directory, move from data one to back to data. So I am again changing the working directory from data two to data. So, and now I'm trying to remove the data two by using the os.remove directory. And you can see here, os.remove directory is not able to delete this directory because this is not the empty directory. So in this situation, shuttle basically work, and in the shuttle we use the shuttle.rm tree, and we can remove a non-empty directory also. You can see here, now it's removed with the option. You can see here the data is gone. So this way, like we can manipulate the files, we can manipulate the input outputs, we can store the input output into the permanent location by using the files. And these are the all operations as I explained into the videos, like how we open the file in the read modes, write mode, append modes, and how we can manipulate the input output, and how we can create the multiple folder on the runtimes, how we change the folders, how we delete the folders. So this way, like we work in the Pythons while we are dealing with the input and output of the data. So that's all about the file handling into the Pythons. If you want to use this code, you can directly access this code from the description of the videos. I will put the link of this collab in the description of the videos. And thank you for watching this video.